So today's Noirvember is a sequel to a film I watched many, many years ago called Harper. Harper's very good. I saw Harper when I was in college, um, grad school, because I had read William Goldman's book and he described writing it and how he came up with the opening sequence and all of that. And so I had to watch it for that. But it had a sequel, and I hadn't seen it at the time. And I know it was one of my mom's favorite movies. She was always a big Paul Newman kind of person and always watching detective movies. But somehow I hadn't seen Harper either, so, of course I hadn't seen the sequel. So this is called The Drowning Pool. Both films are based on books by Ross MacDonald, where Paul Newman is playing Lou Harper. I think in the in the books it's Lou Archer, but in the movies they call him Harper. I think it was because of the whole Archer and Spade um, Maltese Falcon thing, and Warner Brothers didn't want to deal with the confusion. Um, I believe that's what Goldman said in his book, but I can't for the life of me remember now. Anyways, in this one, Paul Newman is reunited with his Cool Hand Luke director Stuart Rosenberg, and co-stars opposite his wife and many-time co-star Joanne Woodward. The film almost feels like if you took the long, hot summer steamy Louisiana romance and looked on the seedy underbelly of those families and saw the twists and turns and bugs. Um, because it's set in Louisiana, much like the long, hot summer. Joanne Woodward plays Iris Devereaux, who is one of Lou's old flames from 20 years back. She's being blackmailed. Well, her husband is about to be blackmailed, but she's intercepted, and she needs help figuring it out. Meanwhile, there's something hinky going on with her daughter, played by Melanie Griffith. Her mother-in-law Olivia, refuses to sell some important oil land. It's a land that she's going to turn into a bird sanctuary, but it also has ripe oil under it. She refused to sell that to oil tycoon J. Hugh Kilbourne, played by Murray Hamilton, who is also a bit eccentric. There is a police officer following Lou, played by Anthony Franciosa. There is Kilbourne's wife, played by Gail Strickland. There is the runaway, what is his name? Runaway chauffeur, played by Andrew Robinson, who may or may not be the blackmailer and may or may not have killed the woman. There's his wife. There is a girlfriend. There are many, 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 many characters. The title is from a really interesting sequence towards the end where Newman's character and Gail Strickland's character end up in an old hydrotherapy building, and they're locked in. And I couldn't quite follow it, and I'm not 100% sure why they thought flooding the room was the only way to escape, but they fled the room in order to escape, and that's the drowning pool. They do not drown. Spoilers. It's a very complicated, twisty plot. I'm actually in the middle of reading my first Ross MacDonald right now, because he wrote like so many of these Archer novels. And apparently they are super twisty, like even more twisty than, The Big Sleep or some of Chandler's work. And this film really lived up to that. It's very twisty. This happens, and then that happens, and then it's this person, and then it's that person, and then you're like, wait, what? And by the time it's over, the final scene, you're like, wait, who is this again? So that's always fun. It both had lots of emotional ugliness as well as just plain greed. It's what I would call and has been dubbed in the last few years sunshine noir, although most of the sunshine noirs are California noirs. This is a Louisiana sunshine noir. It has 3 credited screenwriters: Walter Hill, Tracy Keenan Wynn, and Lorenzo Semple Jr. Walter Hill says only 2 minor scenes are anything like his original adaptation. So there's that. shot by the Prince of Darkness himself, Gordon Willis, and so it is gorgeous, both in the sunny scenes and in the creepy dark scenes. Definitely got a noir um, um, vocabulary in its shots and use of lighting. There are some interesting use of sound, specifically the score. I was looking up to see if there was any reference to the fact that it sounds to me like they keep borrowing tidbits from Born on the Bayou, which would make sense because Louisiana, but then it's not credited anywhere. And I swear the like main theme that pops up throughout the film is riffs on Born on the Bayou, but maybe they changed it just enough they didn't have to give credit or get sued. Um, so it's definitely twisty. It's definitely neo noir. Uh, Newman's having a lot of fun as Harper. He's been quoted as saying Harper is an easy character to play, and he has a lot of fun doing it. So you can see that. It's an interesting comparison to the film Harper, which was 1966. It's a very 60s plot and 60s film in that bits of it felt like that hang on of the Hollywood system that hadn't quite died yet, mixed with free love, right? And like 60s go-go dancing. And then this one feels very much like a 70s film, but not quite as bleak as a lot of the American New Wave films are. Still has a little bit of the fun from the 60s. So it makes an interesting double feature. I would also say it would make a fun double feature with my favorite neo-noir, maybe my favorite neo-noir, one of my favorite neo-noirs, 1987's The Big Easy, also set in Louisiana, except in that case, the fish out of water is not the male detective, but Ellen Barkin's assistant district attorney. She is fantastic in that movie. Check that one out. So this is The Drowning Pool, 1975. You can watch it on Filmstruck right now. It's also for rent all over the place and on DVD and I think Blu-ray. It's very accessible. You can find this movie. Paul Newman's adorable. Joanne Woodward is, I didn't mention her, did I? She is definitely chomping at the bit is the wrong phrase. Oh my god. Chewing all the scenery in this movie. It's very much a scenery chewing, fading, what do they call it? Steel Magnolia for her. So check it out. Watch Harper first. If you haven't seen it, then watch The Drowning Pool. Enjoy both movies. Everyone loves Paul Newman.